All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning. So come by and say hello. All right, guys, I wanted to just share with you some interesting little details here from Peak Monsters as well as the own Splinterlands website. Oh gosh, I'm still struggling trying to get back into the mix of things, but let's go ahead and dive in. Basically, I'm looking at this, and obviously rental costs have come down dramatically, as have the prices of all assets, right? But one of the benefits, especially as we are trying to get new players, is the fact that you can come in to Splinterlands and start playing for less than $1 a day, probably even less than 50 cents if you think about it, and if you're smart in terms of how you go about and select certain cards. But you can see here through the Peak Monsters website that there's all these different kinds of decks that you can create. Now, Chaos Legion, which is the previous core deck, right? You can get all of that right now fully maxed for 400 DEC. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if you do 500 DEC, right? So allow yourself a little bit of wiggle room there. You could probably get select cards from either the rewards, new Rift Watchers, sorry, not new Rift Watchers, but new Rebellion, and even some of the Rift Watcher cards. So that's 500 DEC at peg, which we are not at, right? At peg, that is 50 cents, right? Below peg, that's like 35 cents. But that's only one half of the equation. The other half of the equation is that you will need SPS. And looking at the SPS rental markets, this is down too. In fact, anytime somebody comes in with a bid for 0.003 DEC per SPS, that thing is getting snatched up so fast. So if you wanted to cut the line, you could just offer a higher bid. And I would say if you rented 100,000 DEC, that's probably more than enough to get started. But if you rent 100,000 DEC at 0.003 DEC per SPS, I'm sorry, 100,000 SPS, that comes out to 300 DEC total, right, per day. So now we're talking about 300 DEC for SPS and 500 DEC for cards. We're talking about maybe 800 to 1,000 DEC overall. And again, since we're not at peg, 1,000 DEC would be $1. And obviously we're only at 70 cents of that. And then if you get below, if you go below 1,000 DEC, it's even cheaper. Now, here's the thing. I think what's interesting about this is if you were to play in modern format, I don't know how far you'd be able to make it, but this is something that I do want to try and something that I'm going to test out for the future. Where I think this could actually be even more interesting is in wild format. Now, yes, you would need to pay for the wild season pass, but I think you can get much further in the game. Now, you won't be earning as much SPS as you would in wild. Sorry, in modern. So if you're worried about earnings and making back everything, then obviously modern is going to be where you're at. And I think that's where for people who are trying to ROI and min max that, that's where you would stay. Would be in modern. But for people that are trying to really level up their cards, level up, get a lot of glint, wild could be interesting. And you have the ability to bot your account, right? So in case you can't play all 24 battles a day, you can just bot the account. The bot can get you actually quite far. Now, the bot will be eating into, right, depending on what service you use, it'll be eating into some of what you earn. But there's going to be an interesting inflection point there somewhere where the amount that somebody can make by botting their account in wild with very few, rentals or the minimum amount of rentals to like get far and then actually earn something, earn enough to cover those rentals. There's going to be something there, right? Once we hit that inflection point, either SPS going up a little bit or DEC rental prices coming down. Sorry, not DEC, but the DEC either actually has peg coming down or rental prices across the board coming down even further. At some point, we will see that, which could make things interesting because the more accounts that play in wild will be burning either vouchers or DEC for the wild season permit. But I just thought it was interesting. I want to share these numbers with you because I think, at least for me, I have a bunch of alt accounts that are just kind of sitting idle that I'd like to get back in and play or, bot in terms of just, accumulating assets further in this ecosystem. But what the team has done a good job of is reducing or removing the incentive for that for the most part, right? People can't just leech out of the system. You can only do it if you're being an active participant, meaning that like if you're too worried, if you're worried about like covering all your costs. And this is something where I'm not as worried, right? I'm not trying to like extract a bunch of value from the game, but it would be cool to like build up secondary accounts for, I don't know, something in the future. And if I'm just paying a couple pennies out of pocket every day or every season, again, what that does is it allows me to create. Again, I don't know. This it's just I like the game, right? So it allows me to like expand, play other different levels, play other different things, build a guild, right, all of my own. I mean, alternate accounts have been something in this game that has been there since before I even joined. But again, going back to the new player experience, if it makes sense for me to do it with alt accounts, then it absolutely makes sense for people to do it with new accounts, right? So that's what I'm looking at now, and this is one of the things I keep saying that I'm going to test it. I wanted to test it on Wild, but what I think I'm actually going to do is see how far I can get with an alt account playing in Modern, renting out just select Chaos Legion cards and renting out a decent amount of SPS per day. So that's what I'll leave you with for this, right? That you can play for less than a day, maybe even less than 50 cents, which I think is actually kind of interesting to think about. So I'll be tracking. I'll be doing this and tracking my progress. And if you guys are interested, I'll try to post videos of that maybe in a couple days once I get this started and I'm able to play more games in the alt account. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is anybody else doing this? Is anybody else tracking this? Obviously, the prices have come down significantly, so it gets more and more appealing the lower prices go. But this is also kind of perfect for us to hit our stride with new players coming into the game. So, very curious to hear your thoughts on this. Very curious to hear if anybody else is having success with this, and maybe if you've been able to onboard anyone. And keep in mind, this is only going to get easier, hopefully, once the one-click set rentals goes live, which we know that the team that's one of the things the team is currently working on. Right now, you have to go to a third-party service like Peak Monsters and use their deck builder here. But for the most part, once this is put in game, I think it'll be a lot easier for players to come in, do the one-click set rental, see that they'll be able to rent for hopefully less than $1 a day, and as long as it walks them through the process, right, of like renting cards, renting SPS, and then just jumping into the game, I think that could create a lot of interesting dynamics. Now, one thing I'll close out with here that I think will be beneficial for the newer players is if you're able to go through that experience, right? If you're able to get cards easily, get SPS easily, once you start playing, you're playing the low level liquidity bots, right? All the novice bots that the team has put in. And I've had fun with some of my alt accounts where I'll just go in and even with the soulbound cards, I'll just try and like play against them. And they're relatively easy to beat, right? I mean, and if you have leveled up cards, so that creates an immediate positive kind of impact, positive impression for these new players coming in. So I'll expand on that a little bit more once I'm able to do this. And like I said, I'll track my progress in a separate video so that either older players or new players coming in can see what that experience is like. But for the most part, I mean, I don't think it's a terrible experience to try for 50 cents to $1 per day for the next couple of days and to see how far I'm able to get. And then most importantly, because so many people are interested in play to earn, min maxing, ROI, all that, it'll be interesting to see how far we can get and if we can become ROI positive on just select cards, right? Maybe I don't even go with all of Chaos Legion, the core set. Maybe I just go with select splinters, which is something that we saw bots do a long time ago, right? But now I'll be able to do that and just kind of rent whatever I think is good, rent the elements that are beneficial to me or the cards that I like. But like I said, I'll say that for a separate video. That's all I have in this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.